And now to our interview with the first guest of the day. I am joined by a public affairs analyst and former state secretary, youth leader of the defunct ANPP in Kogi State, Atiku Abubakar Isah, for discussion on the battle for Senate presidency and matters arising. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's start with politics in your states, Kogi State. Tell me, how is the mood ahead of the governorship election in November?
Yes. Even though officially the candidates are not supposed to have commenced campaign, but they are going about indirectly campaigning. Because last week there was an attack and claims and counterclaims. Are you there?
Please go ahead.
Yes. There were claims and counterclaims from the governor of Kogi State, His Excellency Alhaji Ayabelo, and the candidate of the SDP. We are watching, and we hope the security agencies will do their work and ensure a peaceful campaign throughout the period.
All right. Kogi is one of the 3 states having the first set of elections after the 2023 polls. What do you think needs to be done to ensure credible conduct?
Yes. First and foremost, and the most important thing will be for the security agencies to be unbiased. Because as it is now, the tension is high because of because the 3 geopolitical zones, the 3 zones, the 3 senatorial zones have produced candidates: the Kogi East, Kogi Central, and Kogi West. And it is taking an ethnic dimension, which is not very good for our dear state. Because in the past, it was more of a party affair. But as it is today, it has taken ethnic dimension.
Why do you say so?
Because Kogi East has a retired general in the person of Usman Jibril, who has great support from Kogi East, where he comes from. Also, from the Central, there is a candidate, Usman Ododo, who also has great support from Kogi Central. And from the West, there is a member of House of Reps, Abejide, who has also dominated Kogi West. These are the 3 candidates that are leading for now.
All right, so what is the impact on this on the forthcoming elections?
Come again?
What is the impact of this on the forthcoming election? What's the impact of this?
The tension and the fighting that has begun already before even the campaign. That is the impact, and we fear loss of lives. But we are confident that the President and Commander-in-Chief will do the needful and direct the security agencies to be unbiased and to ensure that a free and fair, credible election is conducted in Kogi State.
All right. So now let's move to the business of the day. The 9th National Assembly is winding down. I mean, a lot has been said about this outgoing assembly. But from your own perspective, how will you describe the assembly?
The 9th Assembly, in my opinion, did not actually do well because the outgoing Senate President was more like a rubber stamp Senate President. And it is for that reason that we are clamoring for a more competent man to emerge as the President of the Senate in the 10th Assembly.
So if you say the Ninth Assembly was rubber-stamped, what gave you that impression? What are those factors that you saw for you to have said that?
You will recall that the outgoing Senate president did say that whatever the former president brings, he will approve, which means the principle of check and balance has been thrown away, which is the cardinal principle of democracy.
But some of the lawmakers have said the reason a lot of persons would have said the Ninth Assembly was rubber-stamped is because of the cordial relationship between both arms of government. Do you agree?
No, I don't agree with that. Of course, we also want the 10th Assembly to have a cordial relationship with the executive, but they should do the needful and to ensure that the interest of Nigeria is protected.
All right. Now, the 10th National Assembly will be proclaimed on June 13, with the opposition having tremendous numbers. What should Nigerians expect?
Come again?
The 10th Assembly will be proclaimed on the 13th of June, with the opposition having so many numbers. What should Nigerians expect?
Nigerians expect the opposition lawmakers to ensure that they vote and do what will be good for our dear country, and vote those who are credible, not those who had the opportunity of running down their states. Because we know those who are aspiring for the leadership of the 10th Assembly, some have antecedents of running down their state and ensuring that their states are up there in the index of poverty.
All right, Mr. Isah. Now, 7 parties will be represented at the incoming National Assembly. For you, what's the impact of this on democracy and national development?
The impact of?
The impact of this on national development and democracy.
Well, the impact will be negative if the right thing is not done. And that's why we are calling on the senators-elect to ensure that they do not follow the bandwagon, but to do what is right. And we hope they will do that.
All right. You said it would be negative. What do you mean by that?
In the sense that if the lawmakers do not ensure checks and balance, if the lawmakers do not get it right by electing credible men and women to preside over the affairs of the National Assembly, what I mean by this is, if they do not elect a man with character and wisdom to be Senate President, Deputy Senate President, or Speaker and Deputy Speaker, then Nigeria might be in for it.
All right. So what are those things you think we should look out for?
What we should look out for in the 10th Assembly is to get the presiding officers who do not have criminal charges against them, so that they will be able to concentrate and provide the necessary leadership in the 10th Assembly.
All right, Mr. Isah, now with about 7 political parties in the incoming National Assembly, many agree that, or many say that this will help our democracy to grow. Do you share this sentiment?
If we want our democracy to grow?
Yes. Many say this will help our democracy grow. Do you share this sentiment?
Yes, it is good for our democracy. it is not the best for one party to dominate the affairs. But with what we have, I want to believe that once we get it right at the leadership level, with numerous political parties in the 10th Assembly, we are going to see a robust National Assembly.
All right. The race for the principal positions in the incoming 10th National Assembly has been on for a while. How will you describe the race so far?
Yes, I want to believe that most Nigerians are not happy because of the stories we hear in the media. For example, the Senate, it was said that South and Akpabio was adopted, but that is yet to be confirmed. And also for the speakership, that Abbas from Kaduna State was also adopted. But this is, most especially the Senate, this is not good for our democracy, considering the fact that when Senator Akpabio was governor of Akwa Ibom State, it was alleged that he diverted over 100 billion, according to the EFCC. And an American diplomat did say something regarding corruption when he was governor, that it was a fantastic corruption, if I remember very well. So if a man is facing criminal charges, that man should not be adopted as a consensus candidate for an institution like the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, in the event that he is convicted and sent to prison, will he now preside over the affairs of the Senate from prison? That is the question. And also, considering the fact that, if you recall, a day before the presidential primaries in 2022, the APC presidential primaries, I was here and granted interview. The same scenario that played out then is the same scenario that is playing out now. I did say that among all the aspirants vying for the presidency of Nigeria, one man clearly stands out, and that man is Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. That he contributed much more than any other aspirant, and he deserved the vote of the delegates. I pleaded with the delegates to vote Asiwaju to see that he is rewarded. It is the same thing I am doing today. I am also pleading with the senators-elect to elect the best man for the job, the man who was National Organizing Secretary of All Progressives Congress when Akpabio was in PDP. If Senator Izunaso and the president and other APC leaders did not come together to form the APC to fight the PDP, there wouldn't have been a party that would have contested even the Senate. Now, we are not talking about only him becoming the Senate president. The issue is that of morality. He does not have the moral right. The Writers Association also condemned his adoption. And the fact is that if you look at the Southeast, where Senator Izunaso comes from, the Southeast has been marginalized over the years. Southeast was completely off the leadership in the last administration. With the positive direction the President and Commander-in-Chief has taken, by the various appointments which we have seen, from the appointment of Chief of Staff and that of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, we know the President means well for the country. He needs to stamp his authority and do what will make Nigerians to believe that those who did not vote for him were wrong, and those who voted for him were right. Is for him to ensure that the best man among all those who are aspiring to be Senate President is elected. And that man is Senator Izunaso. He comes from the marginalized zone of Southeast. He is also a ranking member. He is the highest ranking senator among all those who are contesting for the president of the Senate. He was in the House of Representatives. in 2003 to 2007. He was a senator from 2007 to 2011. Before then, he was chief press secretary to the Speaker. Also, he was chief press secretary to the Senate president. So he has all of these experiences going for him. Not the experiences and the wisdom which he has only, but he is the most humble among all those who are aspiring to be Senate president. I have had the privilege of either directly meeting with them or indirectly. And he has this wisdom going for him and the humility the current president will need, so that he will not be antagonistic to the executive, and he will never be a rubber stamp. Because he demonstrated that when he was National Organizing Secretary. The office of the National Organizing Secretary being the engine room of all political parties, he was able to coordinate the activities of primary elections and to ensure that it was rancor-free. He did this, and he demonstrated also to be the best man for the president of the Senate by the motions, bills he sponsored. That is why I want to use this opportunity to call on the president and commander-in-chief, and also call on the vice president of our dear country to ensure that this man who worked with them tirelessly when the others were on the other side of the divide is not left without being rewarded. If he is not rewarded, then others will feel that there will be no need to work for the party.
All right, Mr. Isah. Now we need to take a break, but when we come back from that break, I would kindly urge you to please focus on the issues at hand and not make allegations that are yet to be substantiated or deliberated on by the court.